Hello, welcome to the Peter Repeater, episode 36. Let's get into this. Let's talk about the important things. Let's talk about the non-important things. Let's get a real feel for how the economy's going, world events, politics, philosophy, nonsense, all coming up. I'm just checking that everything's working well, and it is, I think. So just tweet it to my Twitter that nobody looks at, and boom, we're underway. Isn't that lovely? I'll start looking at the camera. Let's have a look at that. Nonsense, all coming up. Yeah, so that's all working. So, another day. We live another day, eh? In the Rona times. Roll up, get the Rona news, the latest. We're still inside. What's up next? The kitchen. We're still inside, reporting from the sink. We've got dishes we haven't done. We've got a dishwasher that's full. We've got a kitchen on its way to being moderately tidy. Next up on the news is the bathroom. It smells. Next up, the bedroom. Close the door to avoid the smell. Next up, breaking news. We're still inside. It probably isn't a testament to what's actually going on in the world, because there's people out there risking their lives, and part of the NHS, and people that are on the front lines caring for patients with all the risks of getting the disease, the virus, and it's all very hardcore stuff. But for the most of us, I would say, I don't know what it's like. Some people were really in financial trouble, I bet, but there are some people that are just stuck inside. And if your finances are being sprayed up the wall in like graffiti, just ruining your interior design work, yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, your finances being sprayed up the wall, just being ruined, and just everything going to pot. It's just crazy. But at the end of the day, if your finances are going down the toilet and everything, you're still stuck inside, aren't you? So what are you meant to do about it, eh? Brush your teeth, go to bed. Oh, bedtimes happen so often for me. It's getting ridiculous. It's like, oh yeah, it's bedtime again. I've put it down to a couple of things. I'm not awake very long. Oh, poo. That isn't good camera work there. I just kicked the tripod. Yeah, I'm not awake very long, and the day just vanishes, and I just get stuck in the same problems every day in and day out, and it's just an absolute nightmare. Just like wake up, podcast, and just all to all entertainment of just interesting things to do, and then oh yeah, it's bedtime again. So how did that happen? It just creeps up on me. I'm gonna put some effort into drinking this tea because it's the perfect temperature. Maybe 2 minutes ago it was the perfect temperature. That's an interesting thought. What does the time it takes to cool a drink, that amount of time, what does that compare to microwave time? Like, is it 5 minutes out on the side means that you get what is that, 20 seconds microwave time? Sorry for making all this noise, but yeah, 20-second microwave time. Is that the formula to life? I don't know. Anyway, I could get into the science of it and Newtonian's laws of cooling and how it cools quicker to begin with. The rate of cooling is in inversely proportional to the difference between I don't know, it's proportional to the difference between the room temperature and temperature of the drink. Some sort of constant. I've got a t-shirt on that joke. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so finance is up the wall, but you're still stuck inside. So those of us who aren't got, critical jobs and aren't, frontline defences and stuff, that we're just stuck inside and it's just the news. Like, oh yeah, stay at home, save the NHS, save lives. Well, I'm staying at home and I'm still alive, and we clap for the NHS on a Thursday. I definitely do it once, ever, 2 weeks ago. But there you go. There's my contribution. I'm just always in the middle of something. It's, oh yeah, I was editing an Instagram photo when it was clapping, and then all the other times I've been doing a podcast with the clapping. That just shows how committed I am to this podcast. Although I did have like a load of episodes where I was just talking about coronavirus. Hasn't changed that much. I just not reading off my phone or my tablet and just trying to look into the camera as much as I can, but it's flipping difficult. Yeah, so in other news, sunroom dining table is just, we call it the sunroom because the sun. The dining table is still there. Cutlery is ready for the meal. Stuff like that. So I was thinking last night, getting excited about stuff, and just thinking about university and what I'm gonna do to prepare all my meals. I figured it out. I've got my canned food, which is like emergency food, which is like full meals. So I'll eat those in the evening, and then I've got my powdered food to do my powder, and then I've also got my little jelly vitamin supplements. So it's a full diet, you see. So the three basics to a diet is powder, vitamin supplements, and canned food, and that will keep me going, and I won't have to go shopping, and I won't have to do cooking, and I won't have to do washing up, and life will be simple and it'll be awesome. Because it literally, an hour every day is spent on the preparing of food, whether it's shopping or tidying up. At least an hour or 2 hours if you're slow like me. And then if you just take that away, you can basically watch a film in the time that you were doing all the other stuff. Anyway, this gel that I'm getting, this like gelatine little bite things, it's customized for my own self, and I got asked loads of questions, and it says like, do you exercise? And I'm like, never. So I've got something to help with that. And what do you want to focus on? And I was tempted to go for better focus and memory, but then that's for non-corona times. So obviously I quickly changed my answer. I don't want focus and memory. I want better immune system. So I'm going to have a better immune system, as these 7 minerals and vitamins are like 3D printed into a little gel. And yeah. Anyway, I got a little sample of that. So I've got that on the way. I'm looking forward to that. So it's got like zinc, vitamin C, and it's got like really special stuff that helps with immune system and like digestion and everything, and hopefully it will really help me out. And that could be that could go alongside just normal stuff, and it could go alongside like a proper balanced diet with my powder and my canned food. So all those things that, yeah, it's all possible. It's in the realms of possibility. I'm just thinking the future. What is the future going to be like? Like, I've got these powdered foods. I've got the vitamins and supplements. I'm going to be awake and alert, and my sleep will be good. And will I exercise? I don't know. This whole idea of like obesity and stuff, it's not good. I want to be slim, trim. So the future, like, world, will everybody be eating the exact healthy diet, and there won't be obesity because that's inefficiency in the system if people are eating too much? Yeah, there was this guy who was doing a very good job volunteering, shopping food for people that can't get it themselves, for the vulnerable, and delivering the food to them. But the problem with that is that they were ordering like giving the list of like the most unhealthy food ever that aren't going to help with anything. So it's just, in the world we live in, that people are just eating fast food and junk food and all this rubbish. But my powder, it says fast food, not junk food. So we're looking forward to that stage of life where we're top-notch entertainment, wall-to-wall, fast food, not junk food, eating the powder. No need to swallow food that I've chewed up previously. I can just go straight in there with my drinking food, and I have my canned foods to have something to nibble on, and then that'll be first year of uni. Getting excited, yeah. And the great thing about it is all within my price range. I can afford all this, and it will help with my budgeting, having a supply of stuff and never having to buy anything. It will all add up, all help. Yeah, so the future, crazy. What are we going to be like? Like, all this tracking of phones, and like, we'll have like no privacy whatsoever, and we'll just look in the mirror and it'll tell us our blood pressure and how our heart is and what the recommended diet would be for the day, and it would just like give you a little bowl of powdered goo, and then you put on a simulation so you can just like play sword fighting and play Minecraft while they disconnect your consciousness from this apparatus that does all your chewing, and it does the eating for you, but it disconnects your consciousness to focus on some game. So you do all the eating, virtually, and you just like switch a button, and then these robotic arms come down and like wrap your whole body, and then go chomp, 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 and then there'll be this little like electrodes like activating muscles to swallow at the right time, and they'll have like CPR on hand and defibrillators just in case the whole thing chokes you out on food, and then meanwhile you just be playing some virtual reality game. So you never eat. So not only will the food be provided for you, there will also be the ability to not be conscious of the eating, and then we'll just get to the stage where we've got these perfect machine bodies, and all we need is to charge on our wireless bed, and our bed is just like a massive wireless charger, and and you don't have to sleep every night. You can just sleep once a year to recharge your batteries, and it's like a 5-minute nap, and then you're good for another year. And it'll be like, how are you? And it won't be good, I'm good, or I'm not doing so well, or a tough day, or weather's nice. It won't be any of that tripe. It will be it will be just how are you? It'll be, I'm 25%, I'm quite low, or 97%, like, it will just be about the charge left in your battery. or it'll be about your Wi-Fi signal. And of course, around the whole world with all these satellites, everywhere will have Wi-Fi, but there'll be certain places like near a mast or something where you get super fast Wi-Fi. So instead of, you know, laying in bed with like 5 girls, all of a sudden you can separate your consciousness and do like 10 things at the same time. So you could have like 4, you know, busy stuff with girls and beds. You do 4 of those at the same time, and then you have one of you watching a film, one of you watching a TV series, one of you playing virtual golf, one of you playing real golf. Well, I think it's virtual, but it's more a real golf when you get wind on your face and stuff. And then you've got all these separate consciousness, and you'll be like, oh, had a really good afternoon because I was near the strong Wi-Fi signal, and I could separate my consciousness and do 10 things at the same time. And it'd be like, oh, I had a really tough day today. I could only you know, I was with this girl the whole day for 24 hours the whole day, just the usual, the necessary slot in my brain, and then the other, but I only had 2 free slots to do out my activities for the day. So basically I only watched 14 films and read 20 books, and that's all I did today. And it would just be this virtual reality computer mixed in with our brain, and like Elon Musk linking the neuro up with a computer, our bandwidth will be increased. So instead of having 2 eyes, we'll have 40,000 million eyes in separate realms of consciousness, and everything will merge into one massive cohort of consciousness, and will be walking bodies, part of this big collective computer system that experiences togetherness, and it won't be able to get enough of anything, so it'll have to conquer the galaxy and conquer the universe to get as many planets as much as possible filled with computing, so we can strive more and more for hedonism and materialism as our collective supercomputer, and we'll all be part of the separate supercomputer, being nodes in the system, and we'll be able to just lie in our rechargeable beds, just closed eyes with our mechanic bodies, and spend millions of years just doing fancy stuff like reading books and stuff like that. And reading books will be a thing of the past. If you want to read a book, click of a button, you know, upload. It'll be like uploading a book to Kindle. Just upload, and then like 5 seconds, oh, that book was awesome, yeah, I know every point of the book. And then there'll be these old school people like, back in my day it took 20 seconds to read a book, and you could really get a grip of the story and get involved in it. And now all these kids nowadays are reading a book in 2 seconds and watching films in 30.8 nanoseconds, and they just really haven't got a grasp on, you know, of the way it should be. We should be reading a book in 20 seconds and then savouring the moment, and that'll be the future. And I'm glad to be not part of it, really. We're probably, for our human bodies, our simple lives, you know, our corona lockdown ability to go around our house and stuff, that might be the best we will ever get. And what we had before was the best human existence ever had. And we're on a slow decline into just artificial intelligence, and we'll get absorbed by the supercomputer, and we'll never be ourselves again, and we'll all be everyone forever. That's the future. That's what's happening. And I hope hope it. Yeah. I just got a bit distracted there because something arrived in the post, and you know what I'm like. Could be my post. Anyway, but yeah, we won't get distracted by someone else's post. Yeah, so all things considered, future's going to be bleak. Or is it going to be better? Is a supercomputer going to be the best version of our reality? And is that going to be really where we lie? Good film is a film called AI, where they no, it's not called. It's not film. Film's not called AI. The film is called Her, or is it him? No, it's Her, and it's about this operating system, and this guy falls in love with her, and she starts off being this simple operating system, and then she ends up having conversations with like 10,000 people at the same time, and she's in love with like 600. And it all started from this one person. Crazy business. Yeah. So that's a supercomputer, just expanding consciousness and having conversations with more than one person, and being able to have conversations with other AI and have like 12 conversations at the same time and talk about interesting things. That's the future, and it's going to happen. And I suppose the thing is, someone said there's a lot of research that goes into the artificial part of intelligence, getting everything automated, but not much research goes into the intelligence part, just figuring out what is intelligence and how do we get like a supercomputer with all these consciousness and everything. And that is the thing. Will the artificial intelligence, as Sam Harris says, will the lights be on? Because if they destroy humanity and we give rise to a new superhuman race, then is that a better situation? And if they're not conscious, then it's pointless, I would say. But if they're conscious and they're able to perceive the world and everything makes sense, then maybe that's the best thing that could ever happen. Yeah. I do look forward to these talks, these podcasts. I look forward to it. So I've done stuff where I haven't looked forward to it, but no, I do look forward to them. It's like when I do my Rocket League, I look forward to the podcast. It was a bit of fun, and this is equally quite fun. The Rocket League was quite nice. That did well. I think the scope of the Rocket League, it did very well because of like Rocket League fans and playing Rocket League with people, and it was a bit of fun. I think that was a good situation that I had set up there. But then longevity of content, you're not gonna get 1 million subscribers for Rocket League, and it's not going to be a podcast like Joe Rogan. I should probably watch Tim Dillon's podcast because I reckon he's really funny. Some people, when they do the podcast, it's not a very good podcast maybe. Usually when you've got two people talking to each other, it can be a good podcast. But then sometimes just Joe Rogan gets stuck in Googling stuff. I'm not sure if it helps anyone, just Googling stuff. Just finding stuff out on Google, and it's not very interesting. That's usually when somebody's got nothing to talk about. They've got nothing to bring to the table and they just start Googling stuff. Not like Duncan Trussell. Duncan Trussell's podcast with Joe Rogan. Sublime. It's a sublime bit of ingenuity. I don't know if that's a word. Just really good podcasting. Really good podcasting. Yeah, so all things considered, lockdown day 25,000, 224, we have realised that there's nothing to do. So what Theo Von kept on saying, nada. There's nothing to do. Nothing to do. It's funny. Anyway, so this podcast is, and I've did my day a little bit more streamlined. I woke up an hour earlier than usual. So I'm doing this podcast like an hour earlier than usual. Does that mean I go on for an hour more than usual? Nope. I've got to get that consistency. Got to get that, 40-minute an episode consistency. Because otherwise I'll just, it's 24 minutes, I'll just end it there. And I won't learn how to fill up time. I just really hope this podcast thing, I learn how to be a good talker and fill up time and stuff. So when I get onto Joe Rogan's podcast, I'll have a good podcast. I don't just want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. I want to have a good podcast while I'm on there. That's the dream. I can just visualize it in my head. Just me sat across Joe Rogan and just talking about stuff. Can't wait. It will never happen. You didn't hear that. It's going to happen. Every day of my life has just been leading up to this. Obviously the first 22 years of my life, I was just building on my personality, really. I was just really getting up to a stage where I had some chat and, I was really working on my ability to talk and just like learning English and like watching comedians and doing a load of research and everything. And I was just really working on my act. And then I started, say, a month ago, just uploading a little bit, and then I've got into it a bit more. And episode 36, I've just really, it's just working on my skill as a podcaster and just really honing my abilities to be an excellence in podcasting. And this is obviously the right time. And I haven't come to this a bit too late. They talk about, the podcasters talk about, if you just start a podcast now, you're hopeless. But then if you're me and you are just a random person in society with no critical acclaim to speak of, like stand-up comic or something, then it's even harder. But I can keep myself busy. I can, be a student for 3 years, work on my podcast, get to the stage where the podcast is bigger than it's bigger than a job, and then, or just enough to get by, and then I'm podcasting my whole life. I could do that. I could sit down and talk about stuff. Chris D'Elia, really funny on Brian Callen. Brian Callen's podcast, The Fighter and the Kid. Really funny, his roasting of Brian Callen. He's really funny. He puts on sunglasses, and Brian Callen's like, take those sunglasses off, we're inside. And he's like, my future is just too bright. And he's pretty funny. He just, his future's too bright, so he has to wear sunglasses. And in a way, that's how I feel about my podcasting. Yeah, it's just obviously, and Chris D'Elia, when you watch him by himself, he's probably more interesting than me, but it's boring. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should give it another chance. But his podcast, there's no structure to it. There's no script. He's just saying stuff. You have to really like Chris D'Elia for it to work. So when I watch Theo Von, I really like Theo Von, so it just works for me to watch him. So I suppose, as a emerging stand-up comic, people are obviously gonna really like me, and then they're just gonna watch me, aren't they? It's possible. Posted a video on Facebook, and I don't want to bombard people on Facebook. Use it just because people get annoyed, even though I probably should to promote my podcast. But I feel bad. Twitter's a different story. You can just Twitter's just anything that's game on Twitter. So if I just build my Twitter and leave my friends alone on Facebook, and I just posted it once just so people can find me if they want. And that video I did post has got 14 views. And I did post that one because I thought it was funny. So there you go. I had some humour in there, and we're working on it, trying to get some more energy. Gonna get my vitamin supplements, get my energy built up, get some crack, and I'll be whipping out the jokes. You know, why did the chicken cross the road? Because he was too chicken to drive. I don't know. Why did the chicken play across the road? Because he's playing chicken. That's great stuff. I'm just hoping after all this podcasting that that parcel that arrived is mine. But it might not be. It probably isn't. Because if I look at the technicalities, like you order something, you know it's going to arrive on like the 5th of, September or whatever the random month is. And you know it's like, yeah, it's not going to arrive for another week. You know that for sure. Something arrives. Oh, it could be me. Never is. It's always someone else. Someone else has bought something. I went visiting my sister's boyfriend's family's house where my sister lives, and there was this cable that I wanted to plug into the TV, and I bought it to arrive at the house, and I asked the person who the sister's boyfriend dad's whether I could buy it, and he was like, yeah, because obviously it's someone else's house, so you can't. And then I bought it, and then it arrived. So I went away from a week, and I still bought something. That's how much I like buying stuff in the post. You just get that rush of things arriving. As long as I can finance it, Maybe I can't always finance it. Anyway, savings. What are savings for? If you're not saving for anything in particular, savings are rubbish. So the next thing to save for is a house deposit, and I'm 22 and I need a salary, so I might as well just wait until my stand-up comic career just goes astronomical and goes crazy. That's what I'm waiting for. You know what's the longest amount of time in the world? 40 minutes. It's not too bad. Sometimes I do well. I say loads, and then I fill up the time. I'm like, oh, it's 5 minutes left. And then other times I'm like, 15 minutes left. Oh, what am I doing? So today I've talked about the future. Quite a dark vision of the future. I love Theo Von, his stand-up comic, and I watched his special last night. Oh, it was really good, funny. So you watch the hour special and you're like, is that it? And it's really funny all the time. But they take like a year, 2 years to prepare for a special, because I suppose you have to make up a lot of jokes to find the funniest jokes. And you've watched a stand-up comic a lot on YouTube, where you see their special, and you recognise one of the jokes because you've seen it on YouTube. And it just the thing that ruins comedy for me is when you think about they've said that joke 20 times. It's just it's a real buzzkill. It's like, well, it was funny the first time, but I suppose it's just like an actor learning their lines, and you learn how to best deliver it, and you still got to be funny about it. But I get Theo Von style. Theo Von style is really good and funny. But Chris D'Elia, like, he does laughing. Like, he laughs during a special at what he's saying. Like, as if he's in the moment and it's funny. It's like, how can you do that when you've told the joke before? Like, how does that work? It doesn't quite compute in my brain. How doesn't quite add up, but there you go. We're learning. So we've got the podcast up and running. We've the next podcast comes out Monday. No, it doesn't. It comes out whenever I sit down and talk. Which the more successful my life is, the less often I go on YouTube, really. If I'm doing something successfully, like A-levels and getting grades, I don't post for a year. But if my life's going to poo and I've got nothing to do and everything's up in the air, then I post every day. That's how it works, and that's how it should be. So daily uploads for the foreseeable future, and we'll just keep the daily content, keep it up and running. And I probably need to eventually stop saying quarantine content on Instagram, because I started quarantine content number 1 and now I'm quarantine content number 5, and I'm like, yikes, maybe I should stop saying quarantine content, but never mind. So it's near the end of the video, so I'm just gonna say my links. So read my book on Amazon, An Unbelievable God by Peter Newing, Newing, and my Instagram for photos of Cornwall at Peter Newing, and then my Twitter at the Pete Repeater, and then my podcast. You're already here. Click subscribe and like the video. That encourages people to watch. Does it? I don't know, but I like it. So thank you for watching. Oh, flip. I just looked at the time. I was just doing my end roll here, and I thought, you know what? I've done the right amount of time. I was, had it all in my mind, had it all set up, doing my outro, about to say bye, and then I'm like, oh, I could just end it, but I've got it's not 40 minutes yet, so 37 minutes. Anyway, we won't do that again. Well, I'm in the ballpark anyway. So Flight Simulator's coming out. Talked about this yesterday. Buzzing. Hope it comes out sooner rather than later. If it came out during this lockdown, I'd love it. Got my joystick behind me. Gonna learn all the controls and fly planes and listen to my podcasts and fly a plane from UK to Australia. Obviously you can do it in one day, just keep on saving it and then just fly in and because it's got all the airports, it's got the whole world. But I probably need to find something that's cool to fly over. Like I'd probably fly from Mexico City to bottom of Argentina and fly over South America. I bet that's cool to fly over. I bet there's so many different things and you can view the world, and I probably need a big screen to do all that. I have got a big screen, but it's not in the flipping right position. I've got a laptop, so I'll just have to look at my laptop, make do with that 17-inch small ass screen. But till then, we'll just do my outro again. So yeah, I'm gonna go heavy on the Twitter and try not to get blocked, which is a skill, because if you do too much unfollowing and stuff, they just blocked for 3 days. So I just gotta go Twitter, get people on this podcast, and then Joe Rogan, and then do the podcast for a living. That's just very simple steps. Twitter, follow a couple of people, Joe Rogan, and then you know, Joe Rogan's a famous podcaster, long time podcaster. So Twitter, Joe Rogan, and then podcasting every day and having sponsors and everything and adverts and all that jazz. What's the time now? So we're going to look over. Right, I've done enough now. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the video watching and everything. I'm going to say bye. Bye for now. Follow me, like the video, subscribe. Bye.